Meet James and Julie. James and Julie had a discretionary trust which was set up in 2005. The trust owned commercial properties which were leased out. The income from the trust was distributed to James and Julie equally. In 2015, James and Julie came to Wollerman Shacklock to prepare their wills. Trish spoke with James and Julie about their assets and their wishes for their wills. She asked them if they had any companies or trusts. James and Julie said that they did have a trust. James and Julie explained that the trust holds commercial property and the income is distributed to the both of them. They said that they wished for the property in their trust to remain in the trust and be dealt with in accordance with the trust deed in the event that one of them passes. Their instructions were that the rest of their estate was to be dealt with in accordance with their instructions for their wills. Trish asked James and Julie if they had reviewed their trust deed recently. Trish explained to them some common reasons why trust deeds should be reviewed regularly. James and Julie said that they have not had it reviewed since it was created. Trish advised them that whilst they're having their wills drafted, it would be a good time to have this reviewed so that they can ensure that their wills and the trust deed are actually in line with their estate plan. James and Julie agreed that that was a good idea, as they were very particular about how they wished for their estate to be distributed. So they instructed Trish to review their trust deed. Trish reviewed their trust deed. Upon reading the deed, Trish came across the section relating to the beneficiaries of the trust and had immediate concern. The trust deed stated that the beneficiary of the trust was the wife of the trustee. The trustee was James. This meant that the beneficiary was Julie, not James and Julie. Income from the trust can only be distributed to the beneficiaries of the trust. Trish checked over the instructions James and Julie had given in their conference and noted that they had advised her that the trust had been distributing income to both James and Julie. Trish spoke with James and Julie and said she wanted to confirm their instructions that the trust had actually been distributing income to both of them since it was created. James and Julie confirmed that this was correct. Trish explained to them that upon reviewing their trust deed, she identified that the beneficiary of the trust was only Julie. James and Julie were confused. James said that he was the trustee and it was a discretionary trust, which meant that he should have discretion to distribute funds to the both of them. Trish explained to James that whilst his understanding of the discretionary trust was correct in that the trustee had discretion as to who to distribute the funds to, the funds could only be distributed to the beneficiaries that are named in the trust, which was only Julie. James and Julie were shocked. They had no idea that all this time James was not actually a beneficiary of the trust. James and Julie were beside themselves and asked Trish what they needed to do. Luckily, Trish was able to assist them. First, she advised James and Julie that they would need to see an accountant to deal with the previous year's tax returns, which had been incorrectly distributing income to James. Then, upon looking at who other beneficiaries could be, as defined by the trust deed, Trish suggested that, subject to accounting advice, they may be able to incorporate a company of which James is a shareholder and then distribute some of the income to that company. James and Julie were so thankful that Trish picked up on these items in their trust deed and said they were so glad that she advised them to have it reviewed, as they would not have ever known, which could have ended up with very big implications for them in the future. James and Julie said that they will make sure to tell all of their family and friends to come and see Trish at Wollerman Shacklock Lawyers for all of their trust deed reviews or anything of that nature. This is a great example of why having your trust deeds reviewed regularly is so crucial. As you can see from James and Julie's experience, if they had not had it reviewed when they did, they could have found themselves in a lot of trouble and facing serious tax penalties and implications. So if you haven't had any of your trust deeds reviewed lately or would like to have it reviewed, or you're looking to create a trust and not sure how to go about it or what type of trust, now is the perfect time to do so. Trish is an expert on trusts, so you can be sure that she will be able to assist. If you would like some assistance, please contact us today on 9707 1155 or admin@wslegal.com.au.